doing a Major League Baseball tier list today. I'm going to be ranking these teams on my personal opinions because I feel like doing the, how good or bad the teams are can kind of get boring and repetitive, and a lot of people have done that. So this is going to be based on my opinions and my opinions alone. Before we get started though, if you like the music in the background, it is done by my good friend Fallen Wonder King. He live streams over on Twitch. He does a lot of Madden, NBA 2K, he'll do some MLB, some throwback stuff here and there. He also does a lot of instrumentals, and they're really, really good. So go check him out, drop him a follow. If you've got the $4.99, he's well worth the sub, man. So please, go sub. With that out of the way, let's get into the tier list. The very first team, the New York Yankees. The team that buys everybody. And I already hear their fans in the background. And maybe even in the comments. 27 rings. 27 rings. 27 rings. Just please, do me a favor. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Easily the most bandwagon team in Major League Baseball. It's not even close. Not even close. So for that, D tier. Fuck you, Yankees. Next, we've got the Seattle Mariners. In Seattle, I'm sorry, your franchise is kind of shit. You guys deserve a lot better than what you have. You guys had, Edgar Martinez, King Griffey Jr., Randy Johnson, Ichiro, some really, really great players, right? But you can't ever seem to put it together. What the fuck? The fuck? So, Seattle, I'm going to do you a little bit of a favor. I'm going to put you in C tier. I don't really have a problem with you. So C tier fits. Tampa Bay Rays. Kind of like the Rays, honestly. Don't have anything against them. I like them a lot better than some other teams in the AL East, including the Yankees. So, I think we're going to go and put the Rays in B tier. Wish they would have won the World Series last year, but their offense was just complete garbage, and Kevin Cash decided to have a brain malfunction in the last game. So there's that. Toronto Blue Jays. I don't really have anything against the Blue Jays. Don't have much to say about them. I'm going to put them in C tier. Just not a whole lot there. Miami Marlins. There's not many teams that have a all-star outfield to the caliber of the Marlins did a few years ago, with Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton, and Marcell Ozuna. And somehow, they managed to fuck it up. Instead of keeping these players, building on the team, and getting what they really needed, which was pitching, they decided, fuck it, we're going to build the whole team up. Fuck it. Their ownership needs to be replaced. Someone else with an IQ that's not negative needs to go buy that team. And start making some moves. Simple. So we are going to go put them in D tier because of their ownership. The St. Louis Cardinals, my favorite team. There's a lot I can say about this team. Having watched this team for over 20 years, my dad had season tickets in right field, section 129, from 2006 until about 2014 or so. Got to see plenty of games, plenty of playoff games, 2 World Series games, 2 World Series clinching games, probably about 3 or 4 total World Series games. I remember the Edmonds, Pujols, Roland days. Really good place to watch a game, Busch Stadium, obviously. I gotta put them in S. They're my favorite team. So yeah. Houston Astros. I have 2 words for you, Houston. Fuck you. Fuck you. You didn't have to cheat. You had the talent on that team. Carlos Correa, George Springer, Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Michael Brantley. You didn't have to cheat. You had the talent on that team. Because despite whether they cheated or not, all those players that I just mentioned are still very, very talented. It was unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. You took a team that was very fun to watch before I found out they were cheating. And now they're pretty much the enemy of every other team in the league. So, for that, D tier. Atlanta Braves. Now, the only thing that I have against Atlanta was the 2012 wildcard game. After that infield fly rule was called, and I know it was a bullshit call. I understand that. As a Cardinal fan, I had to hear it. Oh, you guys shouldn't have won that game. That call was bullshit. Blah, 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 blah. Trust me, I know the call was bullshit. But that doesn't give you an excuse, as a fan base, to throw shit on the field. The players literally had to leave the field for about 15-20 minutes because they, were getting shit thrown at them. And then, the fucking grounds crew had to come clean it up. Now, they haven't been that bad lately. I think they've gotten better. They've had really good teams the last few years, I'm not going to lie. Re-signing Marcell Ozuna is huge. He's probably my favorite player in the league, honestly. So, Atlanta, I'm going to put you in A. Baltimore Orioles. Now, for those of you that are watching this video and know me, I have a slight connection with this team. I've been to Baltimore a ton for a specific reason. So I've been to the stadium a lot. I've watched this team a lot. Camden Yards was actually the first place that I met Jim Thome. And he was one of my favorite players in baseball while he was still playing. So I gotta put him in A. I gotta put the Baltimore Orioles in A. Cleveland Indians. Another team I really don't have a whole lot to say about. Really wish they would have won in 2016. But, they let the Cubs come back and kick their ass. And I had to hear it for the next... wait a minute. I'm still hearing it. What the fuck am I talking about? I'm still hearing it to this day about how the Cubs won in 2016. So thank you, Indians. Thanks. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. You're just like your boring ass logo. C tier. Colorado Rockies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for trading away literally your best player and giving the Cardinals $50 million on top of it. Thank you. Appreciate it. Just for that, I'll put you in C tier. Detroit Tigers. Other than the Cardinals beating them in 2006, I don't really have a whole lot to say about Detroit. They've had a lot of great players. Guys like Miguel Cabrera, Torrey Hunter, Justin Verlander. I'm going to put Detroit in D. It's for the simple fact of they can't really seem to get it together, right? And they are a rival of one of my grandfather's favorite team. I'll talk about a little bit later. Kansas City Royals, automatically a B tier. They hired Mike Matheny when he was wrongfully fired from the St. Louis Cardinals. They gave him a shot. I know they don't have much to work with right now, and they're trying to change that. Hopefully, the Royals were more patient with Matheny than the Cardinals were. But yeah, Matheny's a great guy. Met him a couple times. So yeah, Milwaukee Brewers, D tier. They're absolutely delusional. Absolutely delusional. You can't. Every sport has its fan base or multiple fan bases that literally don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That fits the Milwaukee Brewers to a fucking T. They think they have the best pitching in the National League Central right now. No, not even close. They're fucking delusional. Their fan base, their fucking stadium name used to piss me off. Let's see, what else can I think about the Brewers? What else can I come up with about the Brewers? Oh yeah, they have a piece of shit on their team named Ryan Braun. Yep. Fuck you, Milwaukee. Anaheim Angels, or Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, whatever the hell you want to call them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for being dumb enough to sign Albert Pujols to a 10-year contract when he had already played 11 years with the Cardinals. Thank you. Thank you for paying him so the Cardinals didn't have to. Because if it wasn't for the Angels signing him, if the Cardinals had signed that contract with Pujols, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, Pujols was still good in 2012. I understand that. But without that, if they would have signed Pujols, right? Molina doesn't get re-signed. Wainwright doesn't get re-signed. Berkman doesn't get signed. Beltran doesn't get signed. Then they most likely don't make the World Series in 2013. I know they didn't win, but that proves that they can still get there. They are still a good team without Albert Pujols. But in a more modern note, get Mike Trout some help. Your offense is fine. You've got Ohtani, Rendon, Trout, Upton, maybe, if he can bounce back. Get him some pitching. He's crying right now. Help. Help. Anybody. So, we're saving the Cardinals from not having to spend over $200 million on an aging player, Albert Pujols. I'm going to give you a B. Oakland A's, don't have a lot to say. Don't really bother me. Their stadium is a piece of junk. Their stadium is literally the worst stadium in the league. In all of Major League Baseball. It's garbage. Philadelphia Phillies. Now, my mom is a diehard Philly fan, and she tried to push me in that direction for so long. She really tried. But thankfully, she was unsuccessful. They have a great ballpark. I don't really have too much of a problem with the Phillies fans, considering they're not at all a rival of the Cardinals. Not even a little bit. I'm gonna put them in C. They don't really bother me. Pirates, just because I feel, how did the Brewers get, no. Pirates, just because I feel sorry for you right now. Actually, you know what? Fuck that. Because back in 2012 and back in 2013, you guys were talking all this shit, thinking that you were going to beat us. So you know what? You can sit right next to Milwaukee. San Diego. What do I think about San Diego? I think they're an up-and-coming team. A very promising team coming into 2021. And I'm hoping somehow, some way they can take down the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers are a juggernaut right now. And I don't like that. I really don't. So I'm going to put them in B tier. And I'm going to put the Dodgers in D tier. Because fuck LA. I don't know what it is about these big market teams. The Dodgers, the Yankees, the Cubs. When they were on their run. A couple other teams. The mainstream sports media, ESPN, Fox Sports, all this shit, right? They just dick ride these teams, and it drives me insane. There are other good teams out there that hardly get any fucking coverage. Tampa Bay, Atlanta, the Cardinals. I know they haven't been, as good as they were in the recent years. But they're not a trash can team by any means. So stop dick riding all these fucking major cities. Start paying attention to all of the fucking teams. Texas Rangers. Oh boy. Alright. 2011 World Series. Out of the 2 World Series that the Cardinals have won in my lifetime, Texas Ranger fans were easily the most obnoxious. Easily the most obnoxious. They would not shut the fuck up. Annoying as fuck. Not to mention some of their fans that were attending those World Series games were complete assholes. In fact, let me tell you a little bit of the story real quick. So, as I mentioned before, the Cardinals, with my dad had season tickets in right field in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. So we were lucky enough to go to some World Series games, playoff games, all that stuff, right? I can't remember exactly which World Series game it was. All I remember is I went up to go use the restroom, right? And I'm standing in line. Now, there's a Rangers fan in front of me. I'm not really paying any attention. I'm just waiting for the line. I'm standing behind this motherfucker while he's on his phone. And while he's on his phone, he's flailing his arm around like he's a flailing inflatable tube man. He can't fucking control his arm. Just swinging it everywhere, right? Motherfucker elbows me. He turns around to look at me, and instead of saying something like, "Hey man, sorry, I didn't mean to do that," he looks into my eyes and says, "Can I help you?" I'm like, "You just elbowed me." So he turns around, whatever, waves it off. He does it again. And then he has the nerve to ask if I have a problem. Being as pissed off as I was, I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this shit. I'm walking to another bathroom. Yeah. So, I'm going to put them in D tier. Now we get to the San Francisco Giants. All I'm going to say is 2012 and 2014. 2012, 2014. You can sit right next to the Dodgers. Arizona Diamondbacks, another team I really don't have a lot to say about. So I'm going to put them in C. The New York Mets. A dysfunctional franchise, to say the least. They're trying to get things on track. They're trying to get better. They're making pretty big moves. They've made pretty big moves. But are the Mets going to be the same old Mets, or are they actually going to change? That remains to be seen. They have the potential. They have a very good team on paper. But can they stay healthy? Can they perform to their expectations the entire season? I think it's a tall order, especially in that division against Atlanta and the Nationals, because the Nationals still have really good pitching, and they've upgraded offensively. But what are my feelings towards the Mets? Every time I think of the Mets, I think of the 2006 NLCS, Adam Wainwright striking out Carlos Beltran to send the Cardinals to the World Series. So I generally think pretty positive things. I'm going to put him in B. Chicago White Sox. My grandfather on my dad's side, his favorite team. I can't tell you the amount of White Sox games that I've watched with my grandfather when I would go over to his house on the weekends. I lost track. And it was really, a fun time watching those games. So I'm always going to regard the White Sox very highly because of the respect I have for my grandfather. And they've had really good teams in the past, and they have a really good team now. It took them a while to figure things out, but they're getting there. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to go ahead and give him S tier. Out of respect for my grandfather, I got to give him S tier. Minnesota Twins, I don't have a lot to say about. So, I'm going to put them in C. Washington Nationals, thank you for beating Houston in the 2019 World Series. Appreciate it. For that, you guys are going an A. Even though you kicked our ass, but you know what? Most likely, what would have happened if we had beat you guys? We would have ended up losing to Houston anyway, because our offense that year was dog shit. Dog shit. I mean, you saw it. We couldn't hit a fucking thing in the NLCS. So, thank you. Cincinnati Reds. Every time I think of the Cincinnati Reds, I think of Brandon Phillips talking shit about the Cardinals, and then walking up and patting Molina on the shin guard with his bat. And then a brawl fucking ensued. Not a big fan of the Reds. Not at all. Although if I had to pick another team from the NL Central to root for, it would probably be the Reds, because the other teams piss me the fuck off. And the Reds still piss me off. But other teams do it more. They're still going to be put in D tier. The Boston Red Sox. I'm sorry, Marco, but jumping Jesus Christ, the most obnoxious fucking fans are in Boston. Patriot fans, Red Sox fans, Bruins fans. I'm not sure about Celtics fans. Don't quote me on that. But the other three teams, spoiled as fuck. Spoiled as fuck. They don't know how hard it is to be a fan of a team like the Marlins, like the Mariners, like the fucking Rockies. You think they'd be a little bit more, I don't know, appreciative of what they've got? No. No. Obnoxious as fuck. Don't ever, if you are not a Red Sox fan, do not ever go to a Red Sox game. Home or away, it doesn't fucking matter, because their piece of shit fans will be there. And you don't want that. Let me tell you right now, you want to avoid that shit like the plague. You want to avoid that shit no, D tier. Alright, and now we get to the Cubs. Add a row. Let's see, what are we gonna do here? Oh, did I add 2 by mistake? I think I did. Hold on. Give me a second. What else needs to be said? What else needs to be said? I can't think of anything. I can't. I think I summed it up pretty well right there. I think I have it perfectly right there. Being a Cardinal fan, you already knew that was going in Cubs. That was already going. The Cubs were going in trash. The Cubs had a entire fucking row dedicated to them. What more can you ask for? You already knew the Cubs were going in fucking trash. But I think that's going to end the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share this video with a friend. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.